Hi, I'm Mark Small. This is Civil Discourse Now. Uh, in the commentary of what we have as constitutional rights in this country, a lot of people don't know the origins of our Constitution very well. There is a very big misperception that it has some kind of divine origins. Now, there's a dumbass that's running for lieutenant governor from the Indiana Republican Party, won the nomination by going to the convention, and he got the nomination by 67 delegates. So Micah Beckwith is a preacher from Hamilton County. He has done a lot of things that are bad. He made statements about people. The latest one, or this week, made several saying that the Democratic Party was controlled by Jezebel spirits, which I guess is, like, it's an incredibly misogynistic expression for women standing up for their own rights and actually thinking that, yeah, they make up over half the population and probably do a lot of things better or as well as than the men. But Beckwith lies when he talks about the history of the Constitution. He also tells people don't read the university professors because they've got a secular bias. Question is not whether somebody's biased about something. Obviously, Beckwith is, because he doesn't want to think about anything else, anybody else's views. But the truth is, he can't meet his burden of proof. I'm going to get to that first, but then I'll tell you what we have right here that we can look at. There's no mention of God or Jesus Christ in the Articles of the Articles of Confederacy. That was the document that governed the United States from 1776 until the Constitution took effect. And that was more like a treaty between 13 little countries that were the states. Then there's no mention of God or Jesus Christ in the convention. They didn't do anything about religion. Franklin proposed that they have a prayer at the beginning of each session. It never came to a vote. They didn't do it. When Alexander Hamilton was walking out of the convention, somebody said, well, where's God in the Constitution? And he said, we forgot. There was no mention of God in the body of the Constitution itself or in the Federalist Papers. The Federalists are like 85 papers were written by James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and John Jay. John Jay wrote 5 of them. They were all about foreign policy, and he was not a delegate to the convention. But so there's no proof when Micah Beckwith, who doesn't know crap from apple butter about constitutional history, when he says, well, God is in it, and if you don't realize that, you're just ignorant. No, he's ignorant. He's also a coward. Coward, Micah, chicken, because he challenged me to a debate and then won't do it. He has other people run out front for him, and that's beside the point. He's a chicken. But what he also does is he lies because he wants to put God in government. Realize that he said that he wants to go into classrooms to make sure they teach history the way it should be if he's lieutenant governor. Nobody gives him that authority. But what's worse is, if you're devout and you believe Christian faith, Christians who get authority and run governments as Christians in history have been the cause of killing more Christians than probably any other cause because they don't tolerate people too well. When the Constitution was ratified, it went to the 13 states, and it was to be considered by a convention each state. They didn't want to go through the legislatures because they felt that this was a separate thing to show the people, we the people of the United States. So they wanted to have separate conventions. Each state held a convention. They were voting on it. Some had extensive records. Massachusetts, Pennsylvania had pretty long records of what was discussed. Delaware wanted to be first in having the Constitution. There's hardly any record there. There were 30 delegates, went in, boom, they passed it. That was it. It was ratified. One state had 2 ratification conventions, and that state was North Carolina. The reason North Carolina had 2 ratification conventions was because they voted it down the first time. The first time that a convention in North Carolina considered it, they argued about whether there was sufficient mention of God. Now, that's something that, when there was a delegate named Abbott, and he said, well, you could have possibly pagans or Mohammedans, in other words, people of Islam, or anyone take over the Congress. And this is terrible. We need to address it. Now, if, as the idiot Beckwith says, God was in the Constitution, there would be something said, for example, in this debate. It's not mentioned in any other debates. Nobody says, yeah, it's here. It's between the lines. Nothing. But there would be somebody saying, no, there actually is God in this Constitution, and we'll show you why. But that didn't happen. Didn't happen at all. Watch for the next segment. We'll pick it up then. Mark Small, Civil Discourse Now.